Oh man. Okay, let's see. Hi guys. I know my hair's going everywhere. New day. I decided to. I'm out here doing some metal work in the garage. Finally got some good weather. It's actually only like 24 degrees, but skies are nice. I was able to get the car out. Today we're going to be building some of these. Yeah, these are some hooks that I build for Etsy and eBay and sell. I'll put a link in the description for you guys. These are here's the best one. Horseshoes with a railroad spike for your, so you hang this on the wall, jacket hangs here. That's how it is. So that's what this video is going to be about. Sorry. I purchased my horseshoes and railroad spikes off of eBay and some local places, and most of the time they are not in the best of ways and everything. Most of the time they show up like this. I don't know if you can tell, but this is just a rusty railroad spike and everything. I obtained them from other sellers on eBay and Etsy and local and everything. But let me take you out of the cradle and flip you around and I'll show you what I'm working with. Let me flip you around here. Okay, so here's the horseshoes I made. I've sold. These are my last 3 I have so far. So I purchased a bunch of horseshoes. This is all one lot from eBay one time. These are the best ones. These are what's going to be used for this project. These guys here are in bad shape. A lot of them have nails. They've got crud in them. They're bent all to hell. I can heat them up and bend them back into shape. I really want to do that for this one because that looks really, I like that. That's horseshoe right there. I like to fix that. But they also have the cleats still from where they go into the hoof and everything to keep them up and everything. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're making these. There's a better shot of that spike I showed you. The whole rust and everything. That's how all these came. And then these are some I bought off of Amazon, really cheap and everything. I'm gonna do an Etsy build for that where it's for a phone holder and everything. That's a different episode. I'm still R&Ding that, but so the horseshoes I bought off eBay, and these all came looking like this. Now I spent many an hour taking a wire wheel to them to get them to look something like this, something like clean. I still gotta do this one. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna do this one real fast, and then we're gonna get on to the next step, which will be putting it into a rust inhibitor, which I have down there and everything. I'll talk about that in a minute. So we'll get you back in the cradle. We're gonna time lapse this so I can clean this up, and then I'll talk about the rust inhibitor. So give me 1 second. Safety first, guys. Protect your lungs, protect your eyes, protect your ears. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so that's clean now. Get this eye protection off of this so I can see and breathe. Boy, okay. Like I said, I sell these on Etsy, and everybody thinks that this is like a nothing job. This takes several days to do this, guys. It really does. Because you gotta sand them out. I gotta put them in this solution, and I gotta take the whiz wheel to them, and then I gotta put them in the solution for 24 hours, and then I take them out of the solution. And sometimes I have to take the wire wheel to them again in order to get them to look right. Because I don't want to send out bad stuff. I'm using these containers here. guys. Let's try and get them in like this. Stand them all up. Alright, so I'm not going to cut these off yet. So that's it. Okay. So we're going to put these in the rusting here. We're going to let them sit over for 24 hours. And then we'll take them out, and then we might have to hit them again with the wire brush, the wire wheel. And then we will cut them. Sorry, I keep walking away. We'll cut them here, so then they can get that frame. We'll cut them about here. I gotta take a measurement for that, but we'll cut them. And then we will weld them onto these horseshoes. And then we will grind down the welds, and then we will glue the welds and everything, make them all look uniform, tool blue finish like these guys. This nice finish, and I don't know if you can see those welds there, but I got this bluing compound they use for firearms and everything. It just gets this nice blue finish on it. I really like it. It's gonna do that, and then the bluing causes oxidation actually, so then we have to go in again and lightly sand down with steel wool or a Scotch-Brite and everything, and then we will clear coat these, and then they will be ready for sale and everything. This is a multi-day process. Sometimes it takes 2-3 days for this to happen, because like I said, these guys sit 24 hours. And then, I gotta cut them, weld them. That's usually a day, or a couple hours at least. And then grind down the welds, bluing, and then sanding again. And that's like 2-3 days worth of work here. Just doing these tools and everything. I want them to look nice for you guys. So what we're using for us here, we are using. I don't know if you can see that. Evapo-Rust. This is reusable and everything, so let me show you. I've already got something out, another job going. It's sitting in this. I did this like before I started this video and everything, so it's sitting in here. Evapo-Rust is reusable. It's supposed to be better for the environment and everything, better than other rust inhibitors and everything. Let me move that. That. So we're simply going to pour this in. I know it's black, it doesn't look like it's good for you, but this is supposed to be safer than other rust inhibitors. I found this. Adam Savage actually told me about this. He didn't tell me. He uses it on test and everything. So yeah, let's go it to where it covers. And there you go. So we gotta let this sit now. Oop. That one's leaking. Stop leaking. Alright, this has to sit now at least. I let it sit overnight and everything. And there's times where I will come in and I will move it. Like I will move the metal inside and everything to where it gets an even coating of the stuff. So this could be even more than just a day of sitting. That's what we're doing. Break that loose. Let that sit. Let that sit. Let that go. Let it do its thing. And be back possibly tomorrow. Okay, guys. So we are back. Yeah. I pulled the railroad spikes out of the Evapo-Rust. A lot nicer than when they went in. Less rust and everything. This bit of a patina still on, but don't worry about that. And then using my little chop saw rig here that I did a video on a while back. I'll put a link in the description for that. I went and I cut off all the heads from the railroad spikes. So yeah, you got about 2 inches here to there. So this is flat, so it will fit right there and get welded on. In theory, not in theory. That's what's gonna happen. So that's the plan. I got my flux core welder out. We're gonna be doing that. We're gonna do some welding. I know I pulled those out of the evapor rust, and then I cut the heads off screen and everything. Like I said in the one video where I did the chop saw over there, that's a cheap Harbor Freight grinder. It was like 15 bucks. I was literally cutting the last one of these, and it died. So I gotta go to Harbor Freight. I've got a warranty and everything on it, so I'm gonna switch it out, get another one, or use that warranty and get pay a little bit of money and go to the next one up and everything. Maybe that'll be better. I don't know yet, but I gotta do that. But that's where we are. We're gonna do some welding. Avert your eyes. Don't look directly at the potato, as Tim Allen would say. Don't look directly at the potato. So that's where we are. Let's get you into position, and we'll get welding. Alright guys, so I got those welded up. A little bit of a tip for flux core welding. There's different types of welding out there. There's stick welding, MIG welding, TIG welding, flux cord, which is what I'm doing here, and oxyacetylene. Not many people do oxyacetylene anymore. It's more like, people call it like brazing and everything, but you can do it and everything. That's actually how I do aluminum. I use oxyacetylene because I don't have a TIG welder or MIG welder. I can do it. Let me close this door real fast. Okay. So, flux cord welding is basically the love child between stick welding and MIG welding. MIG welding uses wire and a gas. It's gas metal arc welding is what MIG welding is. And it uses a wire and a shielding gas to weld. Shielding gas protects the weld from the oxygen in the atmosphere. It keeps it from what is called porosity and everything. Big and everything. It's called porosity. Stick welding, you have an electrode covered in a flux. That flux burns and creates a layer of slag over the weld that protects the weld while it cools from the oxygen in the atmosphere, because it causes porosity, which is bad for welds. Welds can fail and everything because of it, so you don't want porosity. So yeah, flux cord is a combination of those. It is a wire, a flat wire, and a coating of thin flux. So instead of needing a shielding gas, you have that flux to protect the weld. So that's one of the reasons I like that. Another quick tip when it comes to flux core welding, unlike MIG welding, let me get this here over here. So let me chop that off a little bit. Okay. So when it comes to flux core welding, you actually want quite a bit of wire out there. You don't want to be like in MIG welding, tight in your weld and everything. because in MIG welding you need that shielding gas. If you're too far away, the shielding gas will not protect the weld. Flux cord, you want the wire to get out there a bit further. So, quick tip for those of you who just learned to weld and everything. So there's that. We're gonna let these cool, and then we're gonna knock off the slag, and then knock off any spatter there might be and everything. All those little beads. Let me pull these up for you real fast. You get all these little beads all over the place. That's called spatter. All the sparks and everything. So yeah, you got down in there. I don't know if you guys can see it because of the lighting. You have all those little beads. That's called spatter. That happens when welding. That's sparks and everything. That's metal going everywhere. You gotta clean them off. So we're gonna let these cool down. We're gonna knock off the slag. We're gonna take a grinder to any imperfections, which those welded up really good. So I don't know how much welding I'll actually have to do. Like I said, I want to get those beads off of there. Yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna let these cool down because you do not grind on fresh welds. No, you let them cool down for a bit. This is nothing structural or nothing, but it's just a good practice and everything. That's one thing I learned back in school because I went to Gateway for welding and we did a guided bend test. So I would weld a guided bend test up at night, and then if I had a class that night or a class the next day, I'd come in and that's when I would grind on the weld to do the guided bend test, because you were taught not to grind on fresh welds. So yeah, we're gonna let these sit. Like I said, these are not structural or nothing. It's not gonna hold up a bridge. It's just gonna hold up a coat or a hat or something. But good practice. It's something that I like to practice and everything. All my welds, you do not grind on fresh welds. So we're gonna let these sit, let them cool off. I'm gonna go eat some lunch because I am hungry. I've been running around all day. So yeah, that's where we are when we come back. We're gonna be into a time lapse and you're gonna see me grinding on welds and cleaning stuff up. I'll be right back. Alright, so we've gone through and we've ground down the spatter and the welds, and we take off all the burrs. Well, there's one right there, I gotta get off. But we've taken down all the burrs and everything. As you can see how shiny that is there. Everything. We want a nice uniform color. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hit it with this bluing solution. Get this on Amazon. This is used mostly for bluing firearms, but I find it gives it a nice, I use it, I like the finish, it's like a blue tool finish, I love it, everything. So that's what I'm going to do to this. It's a simple application. Just brush this on and then let it sit for a bit, and then either go in with steel wool or a Scotch-Brite to take off the rust that's going to be created, because the chemical reaction creates oxidation. So we're gonna have rust again. But you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll show you afterwards. But let's get into a time lapse. I'll apply this and then I'll come back to it and I'll show you before we use the Scotch-Brite and everything on it. So let's get going. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's, let me see, maybe you can see it here. I show it on this side. Okay, so I want to, see, it's gone, because it's been blued. Okay. So it's got a nice blued finish on it, a nice unified finish, so looking like welds and everything. So that's gotta sit for a bit, not too long. Let's see, what do I got? I've already got some showing up right there. So you see how that's rust starting to come back through, that glossiness. So yeah, I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes, and then we'll come back through and we'll hit it with steel wool or Scotch-Brite or both. And then another thing that I do, I'm gonna jump ahead and everything, is after I hit with that, sometimes there's rust down in places I can't get to with Scotch-Brite and the steel wool. So I actually put it back in the evapor rust that you guys saw me do at the beginning. Yeah, so it's gonna go back in there and it's gonna sit for probably another day. So yeah, we're gonna run through this, we'll hit it with that. I'll put that back in the evapor rust. Tomorrow I'll pull it out, and then we'll be on to the last step, which will be clear coating, and then these will be finished and ready to go out. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's going right on. We're moving right along. Okay guys, so we have the hooks back in the evapor rust solution, taking that rust off of that's created by the bluing solution and everything. So let me get you out of the cradle, let you see. Get you out, let me flip you around. Okay, this is one thing I want to show you. So these are some phone rest holders that I'm making. You can use them for tablets, for phones and everything. Maybe this is my phone and everything. It's gonna sit right there. Yeah. There you go. It sits just like that. I used the bluing solution on this one here. So I wanted to show you I'm going to do multiple types of finishes, but this is the bluing solution. I'm going to paint one black and I'm going to leave one just the stand, like this color and everything. So that's why I wanted to show you. So you can see the difference between the bluing and what it was. These are some cheap horseshoes that I got off of Amazon. Wanted to do them. I'm sorry, hands in the way again. I wanted to use them for these hooks and everything. And then, well, so I'm thinking of switching over to these to make them for the hooks. But I want to get through all of my horseshoes, my real horseshoes first, because these are not real horseshoes. These are cast steel horseshoes. These are for just ornament and everything. Ornaments and all kinds of, that kind of stuff and everything. Not used for real horses. Whereas these guys are actual horseshoes that were pulled off of horses and sold to me on eBay. That was a loud clank, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's where we are. These are gonna stew in this until probably this weekend because today's Wednesday. I usually let them sit 24 hours in solution. And so like I said, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we're expecting bad weather here, so I won't be able to get down here and do anything. But the weekend is looking nice, so I'll be able to get in here, pull them out, and clear coat them. And then that'll be the end of the episode. I'll give you guys some B-roll and everything. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, that's off. Okay, guys, we are back. So it's been a couple days. I can't remember where I left off really, but so I'm gonna give you a little overview. We're gonna pull the. Last time you saw it, I put the horseshoe hooks into the evaporative solution so they could sit for 2 days. So now we're gonna pull them out. We're gonna wipe them off, and we're going to clear coat them in a matte clear coat. I got a couple other things that I'm gonna paint today, like another bustle. Yep, I had like 3D printed 2 of these, but one of them is missing or broken, I think. I can't remember. But I got one to paint, which is fine. And then we're going to paint this holder here black. So let me show you that. I think I showed you earlier, but it's a phone holder or tablet holder or even used for a book holder. Yeah, that's what it's for. So I'm going to have this, and I'm going to paint one black. I'm going to have one just like this color, and then I'm going to have a blue one. That's the plan for this. So this is going to be the black one. Well, that's where we are. About to start. I got to get those out of the solution, dry them off, and then I'll paint the bustle and then that black, get them into the hot box. That's what this is, the hot box. All it is a box with a hair dryer in it. It's a little chilly out this morning. It's only 40 degrees. It's supposed to go up to 60. But it's only going to be at 60 for a little bit, and then we're supposed to get rain and snow tonight. Yeah, the rain and snow we were supposed to get last night, we're getting tonight. So I'm kind of rushing to get this painted so I can get out of here, so I can get the car back in here. That way it doesn't freeze up or nothing for tomorrow. Yeah, that's the plan. I think I said we were going to go straight into time lapse, but this little overview I think was required. So that's where we are. So I'm going to do it. Now we're going to jump into a time lapse where I pull those out, clean them off, and we're going to paint everything. Okay? That's where we're at. So, let me get them going, get you into position, and we'll get started. Okay. So, alright guys, so I got everything clear coated with one, I got all those clear coated. Okay. There they all are. They're all clear coated. I gotta flip them over and do the other side. I've got the bustle and that phone holder in the hot box now. I just turned the heat off for that so you guys can hear me. There we go. Okay. So there's that. One thing I want to talk to you guys about is that I alluded to say was about prep work. So after I pulled these out of the evapo rust and everything, I went ahead and I took a wire brush to them and I cleaned up some of the surface rust that was still on because there's still a little bit on them. Then I hit them with some vinegar and everything. Then I let them sit before I go in and spray them and everything. The main reason for the spray is because there's still grease and dirt still on these, so that that clear coat blocks that in so it doesn't get on your clothes or on your hands or anything. So, I don't know if you can see on my hands here. That's from cleaning it off and everything. So, yeah. I'll go wash my hands. Don't worry about it, guys. That evapo rust is supposedly safe and everything. Allegedly safe. People are yelling. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to flip these over. And then we'll clear coat the undersides. I gotta flip that stuff over, paint it, and then clear coat that. That's where we are right now. So, yeah. I'll be back in a bit after it dries. Let me fix this one. Okay. Okay, guys, so we have finished. Yeah, we finished. Let me turn you over here so you can see the end results right there. Actually, let me get you out of the cradle fast. You can see better. Now, I'm gonna flip you around here. There you go. Yeah. Finished result. Each one has been clear coated twice. So clear coated twice, flipped over, clear coated twice on the other side. So they're totally clear coated. The main reason to clear coat is to keep any dirt or anything that might be residual dirt or rust on them off your clothes or anything. Clothes, hats, whatever. Protect yourself and everything from them. So yeah, that's where they are at. These are on my Etsy, so you guys can go see them, purchase them if you like. Yeah, that's where we're at. I've got the phone case or phone holder in the hot box. I'm about to turn that on so it can bake, and then that'll be done. The bustle is over there. Yeah, right there. So that's done. Flip you back around, get you back in the cradle. Back in the cradle you go. Yeah. Let me see. One hand. So yeah, that's this video for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe and comment, of course. Guys, it'd be a big help if you guys did those 3 things at least. Comment because I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you're making. I want to hear your comments on how I can grow as a maker. Everything, different materials, different processes of building things. So yeah, please comment. Subscribe, of course. It'd be a big help to the channel if you guys would subscribe. That would allow me to monetize and then grow. I'll be able to buy more materials and do more stuff and everything, because I really want to expand this channel a lot and everything. So yes, like, subscribe, comment, share, tell others about this, please. It'd be a big help. Might even help them. So yeah, that's where we're at. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.